Welcome to Jim Rohn Treasures, where timeless wisdom blends with modern life. Have you ever felt like you're trying all by yourself? You work hard, you persist, you give your best, yet the door of opportunity still seems closed. It's like you're standing before an invisible wall so close, but unable to step through. I've been there. I used to think that if I just worked harder, pushed a bit more, got stronger, became better, that would be enough. But then I realized effort alone doesn't always take you to the next level. Because success isn't only about what you have, but about who you walk with. I once heard a quote that completely woke me up. Big idea plus wrong people equals failure. Small idea plus right people equals great success. Alone you can go fast, but to go far you need the right companions. Money can be lost. Assets can crumble. But one good relationship, one person who believes in you at the right time can open a door you could never open on your own. Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And when you look closely at those around you, you'll know exactly where your future is heading. In today's video, I'll share with you 7 principles for investing in relationships, not to take advantage of anyone, but to build connections that are deep, real, and sustainably valuable. Because when you build the right people around you, you're also building your own future. And you should stay until the end, because principle number 7 might change the way you see your entire life journey. Principle 1. Relationships are invisible assets that generate returns. Someone once said, in life there are 2 types of assets, measurable and immeasurable. We all understand the value of money houses and bank accounts, but few truly see the value of things that can't be touched: reputation, trust, and especially relationships. I used to think success came purely from personal ability, that if I was good enough, hardworking enough, persistent enough, life would naturally make way for me. But the further I went, the more I realized something profound. Many doors in life cannot be opened by one person's strength alone. They open only when the key holder stands on the other side. Think back for a moment. Where did your best opportunities come from? A good job, a major client, an important introduction, someone who believed in you at the right moment. That's not luck. That's relationship. Some people spend their whole lives chasing money, but forget about people. They think that once they have money, everything else will follow. But money buys services, not trust. Money pays for transactions, not loyalty. Money may get you in the room, but only your character and values will keep you there. I once saw a brilliant businessman. He made a lot of money, but in every deal he calculated and measured, ready to sacrifice relationships for short-term gain. In the end, when the market shifted and challenges came, no one stood by him anymore. Not because he lacked money, but because he lacked people to call. Jim Rohn once said, ordinary people build assets. Extraordinary people build relationships. I've reflected deeply on that quote, because it touches a simple yet profound truth: tangible assets can be lost. But human capital, when built the right way, will stand with you for a lifetime. A good relationship is like a seed. At first it's so small no one notices. It's not flashy, not immediate, not instantly rewarding. But if you nurture it with sincerity, kindness, and presence, over time it grows and blooms. One day you'll realize that a single introduction from someone who trusts you can be worth more than a year of hard work. I used to underestimate this. I used to think relationships were just, if it happens, it happens. But experience taught me relationships don't grow on their own. They must be planted, cared for, and nurtured, not to get something in return, but to connect through genuine value. Because in the end, life won't remember how much money you made. Life remembers how many lives you touched. If you're tired of trying alone, maybe it's not because you're weak. Maybe you're just trying to open a door that wasn't meant for you. And perhaps the person holding the key is already nearby, waiting for you to see the value of that relationship. And that's just the beginning. Because for relationships to truly yield returns, you must understand a deeper principle, one that most people overlook, and that's exactly why they never go far. Let's move on to principle 2, where every true relationship begins. Principle 2, give value first, receive value later. If the first principle helps us see that relationships are assets, the second principle teaches us how to invest in them. It's about learning to give value before expecting anything in return. And this is where many people stumble, because most of us are taught to calculate, to measure, to ask, what can I get from this person? But people with vision approach every relationship with a different question. What can I contribute to them? I once made this mistake, only valuing relationships when I needed something, reaching out only when I had a request, connecting only when I hoped for help. Then I wondered why my relationships lacked depth, why no one truly stood by me during hard times. The answer was simple. If you only show up when you need something, you're not a friend, you're a transaction. There's one thing that people of high value understand clearly. They can tell who comes for gain and who comes with heart. They don't say, don't judge, don't push you away, but they know. And once they see you're there to take, rather than give, the door quietly closes gently but permanently. Giving value doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It's not about doing everything to be liked or approved. Giving value means offering what you truly can: knowledge, help, presence, sincerity, listening, the right introduction, or even just a well-timed thank you. I once met an elderly man at a small gathering. He didn't talk much, didn't try to impress, didn't boast about who he knew or what he'd done. But whenever someone mentioned a struggle, he would quietly say, "I know someone who can help you." And he connected them. That's all. No deals, no conditions, no expectations. 2 years later, his company faced serious trouble. Yet within weeks, everyone he had once helped stepped up to support him. Not out of obligation, but because they remembered he had planted the seeds first. Giving value first isn't naive. It's the long-term strategy of those who understand the rules of the game. Because every lasting relationship is built on this foundation: I'm here not to take from you, but to grow with you. Look around you. Is there someone who needs encouragement? A kind word? An introduction? A small act of help you can offer today? You never know which seed will grow into a forest. You never know who will one day open the door you need. But one thing is certain: no seed grows if you never plant it. And when you give without expecting, you become rare. When you give and immediately expect a return, you're just trading. The world always makes room for the rare, not for the ordinary. I understood this when I look back at myself. When I focused on building external assets, I was often anxious. But when I focused on building internal assets, reputation, trust, connection, life began to open up naturally. And that's why the next principle matters so much. Because giving value only means something when the person behind it is trustworthy enough. Value is what you give, but credibility is what makes others want to receive it. Next, we'll move to principle 3, one of the keys that determines whether you build relationships that merely survive or truly endure. Principle 3, reputation is the strongest currency. There's something you'll realize more and more as you grow. Reputation goes before you, opportunity follows you. Before people look at your abilities, they look at who you are. Before they judge what you can do, they consider whether you're trustworthy. Success doesn't begin with talent. It begins with the trust others place in you. Reputation isn't what you claim to have. Reputation is what others feel when your name is mentioned. It isn't in declarations, it's in how you live every day. It shows up in every promise you keep, every small thing you do, every moment you choose kindness when no one is watching. I've seen many talented, intelligent, eloquent people with plenty of opportunities, yet their careers ended early. Not because they lacked ability, but because no one trusted them anymore. When trust is lost, every opportunity that follows disappears too. A person can be wrong, can fail, can be imperfect. But if they lose their reputation, they lose the foundation to stand up again. Jim Rohn once said, "Character is the pillar of fortune." I understood this more clearly when I look back at my own path. There were times I promised faster than I could deliver. I used to think that as long as I delivered the final result, that was enough. But no, people don't just remember results, they remember how you got there. A small promise broken may not cause an immediate consequence. No one blames you, no one judges you, everything seems fine. But it's like a tiny crack in a house's foundation. It doesn't collapse right away, yet one day it will fall from the very spot you dismissed. Reputation cannot be built with words. Reputation is built only through repeated actions. Being on time for an appointment, offering an apology at the right moment, completing something as promised. Being straightforward when you're wrong, daring to say, "I take responsibility." You don't need to do anything grand. You just need to live without betraying your own word. I remember meeting a businessman who had been successful for many years. I asked him for his secret. He simply smiled and said gently, "I only do one thing. I let people always know that if I say yes, it means I will do it, and if I can't do it, I'll say so from the start. That's all." But that very thing allowed him to call anyone in the industry, and people believed his word. No lengthy contracts, no complicated commitments, because his reputation had already signed the contract. Reputation is the strongest currency because it can't be bought, it can only be built. You can buy attention, you can buy opportunities, but you can't buy trust. Trust is given only to those who deserve it. And there's something very quiet yet piercingly true. You can't demand others trust you if you don't even trust your own word. When you say and don't do, you know. When you promise and don't keep it, you know. And from that moment, your inner strength begins to weaken. Self-respect begins to fade. Your life energy starts to wane. Because if you no longer believe yourself, how can you stand firm before life? So build reputation, not for others. Build reputation to keep your soul standing upright. Look at today. Is there a promise you've been delaying? Is there something you said you'd do but haven't started? Is someone waiting for you to keep your word? Don't wait. Start with the smallest thing. Reputation is built brick by brick. And then one day it becomes a fortress that shields you from every storm. Because when you have reputation, you don't have to chase opportunities. Opportunities will come to you. And that leads us to the next principle, one that can completely change the environment you live in, the energy you absorb, and the future you step into. Principle 4, choose the people who elevate you. And this is where life truly begins to change direction. Principle 4, choose the people who elevate you. There's a quote I've carried for many years. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. At first I saw it as a nice saying, a simple philosophy to remind myself to choose friends wisely. But the deeper I went into life, the more I realized this, quote, isn't a philosophy, it's a law. Because the environment doesn't just influence you, the environment creates you. You may have strong will, you may have big goals. But if you live among people who constantly complain, blame, avoid responsibility, criticize every opportunity and fear change, then one day you'll start to think like them, talk like them, and live like them. Not because you're weak, but because humans are programmed by their environment. I've been in circles where daily conversations revolved around how others were wrong, how unfair society was, and why life didn't give them a chance. I didn't realize how it was affecting me, because environmental change doesn't strike loudly. It arrives quietly. It slips into every small thought. It slows you down a little, makes you doubt yourself a little, and then one day you look back, you're no longer the person you wanted to become. Then I met different people. People who always asked, how can we get better? What did we learn today? Where can we create the next opportunity? People who spoke less about others and more about themselves. People who didn't start ahead, but excelled in mindset, discipline, and determination to go the distance. Just being near them, you begin to change. They don't need to teach you, they just need to be present. Their energy makes you want to stand taller. Their stories make you want to try harder. Their expectations make it impossible to live carelessly. And I understood, not everyone who starts with you will finish with you. Some people fit your old journey, but not your new one. It doesn't mean they're bad, it just means you're heading in different directions. And if you insist on holding on, you're not only holding them back, you're holding yourself back. Choosing people who elevate you isn't abandoning anyone. It's honoring the role they played in your life and moving forward. I've had to quietly step away from a few relationships. No arguments, no criticism, no explanations. Just the gentle departure. And I realized that sometimes maturity doesn't come from what you gain, but from what you dare to let go. Look at your life right now. Are the people you talk to every day pulling you forward or dragging you down? Are you in a community that expands your thinking or limits it? Do you feel smaller around certain people, or do you feel expanded when you meet a few others? Answer reveals exactly where your future is headed. If you want to change your life sometimes, you don't need to start by changing yourself. You just need to change who you stand next to. And the good news is you don't need a big group. You just need one person with a bigger vision than yours. One person who dares to live more truthfully than you. One person with stronger discipline than you. One person who looks at you and believes you can become more. Around the right people, you'll naturally grow. No forcing, no straining, no competing. You grow because that's what naturally happens in a healthy environment. And once you've changed, the people around you, your life begins to accelerate. But to keep these connections, there's something even more important to learn a skill. Most people overlook, which is why they lose relationships they once deeply valued. Now we step into Principle 5, where the door to the future truly opens. Principle 5 opportunity always comes from other people. There's a very simple truth that most people overlook. No one succeeds alone. Every major door in our lives bears the fingerprints of someone who believed in us, introduced us, or gave us a timely chance. But because they're so focused on their individual effort, many don't see it. They think hard work is enough. Just be better, stronger, more persistent, and that's enough. If that were true, then the hardest working people out there would already be the most successful. The truth is, effort creates strength. But people create opportunity. I remember a time in my life when I tried so hard, but still couldn't get far. I read books, learned skills, worked late, and was willing to endure more than anyone. But I always felt like I was running without knowing where the road led. Every step was a solitary effort. I assumed results would come with time, but they didn't. Then one day I met someone, not the richest, not the most powerful, but someone who saw the value in me that even I hadn't clearly seen. They didn't give me money, didn't give me benefits, but they gave me an introduction, a meeting, a door, just one door. But it changed the course of an entire chapter of my life. From that moment, I realized something. Some of the biggest leaps in life happen not because you push a little harder, but because you meet the right person at the right time. Then I observed the successful people around me. They didn't run after opportunities. They built themselves, then built relationships and allowed opportunities to come from the very value they had sown into others. Opportunity may come from an invitation to collaborate, a casual introduction, an accidental conversation, a moment when someone mentions your name in a room where you're not present. Opportunity doesn't always appear under bright lights. It often comes in the most ordinary moments of life through the people you've treated well. But perhaps the most important thing here is this opportunity doesn't come from the crowd. Opportunity comes from a few people who truly believe in you. You don't need to know the whole world, you just need a few people willing to say, I trust this person. So instead of asking, how do I find bigger opportunities, ask, have I become the kind of person others want to entrust opportunities to? Because you can't expect life to give you what you're not ready to receive. If people trust you, they'll open doors for you. If you value the relationship, they'll keep the door open longer. But if you take the connections around you lightly, the door will close, and next time it might not open again. Look at your life right now. How many opportunities have you missed just because you didn't maintain a relationship that was once beautiful? Is there someone who once helped you, but you never said thank you? Is there someone you once cherished, but because you were busy, you let the distance grow? Just one message can mend a broken thread. Just one check-in can reopen a closed door. Just one thank you can restore a faded trust. And perhaps today, this is what you need to do. Think of someone who showed up at the right time in your life and reach out to them, not to ask for anything, but simply to say, I still remember what you did for me. Thank you. Because true connection begins with sincerity. And once you know that opportunity comes from other people, the next step will determine whether that opportunity lasts or not. It's time to move to Principle 6, where we learn how to sustain and nurture relationships so they don't just come and go, but become lifelong, enduring assets. Principle 6, maintain and nurture relationships. We often think relationships are built when we first meet someone, when we talk, when we make an impression. But the truth is, relationships aren't built in the first meeting. They're built in the follow-ups that keep the connection alive. Just as a tree doesn't grow because you planted a seed once, it grows because you keep watering it, keep tending it, keep letting it live in the light. Many people lose important relationships, not because they did something terribly wrong, but because they stopped nurturing them. Busy lives make it easy to let go of things that seem small, a check-in, a short message, a thank you, a timely presence. We keep thinking another day, but another day doesn't come. We keep thinking they will understand. But prolonged silence makes the distance grow. And then one day we look back and realize some people who were once very close are no longer in our lives. I once lost a relationship like that. Not because of conflict, not because of misunderstanding, but simply because I stayed silent too long. I always thought it was enough that they knew I valued them. But appreciation that isn't expressed is like a seed kept carefully in a drawer. It will never sprout. By the time I realized that the relationship had drifted too far, I lost not only a friend, but a part of myself, the part that knows how to love and appreciate at the right time. Maintaining a relationship doesn't require anything grand. Sometimes all it takes is a very simple question. How have you been lately? That question isn't just about updates. It's saying, I still remember you. I still consider you important. Yet we often wait for others to take the first step. We wait for them to call, to text, to hold the connection. But relationships are two-way. If you only wait, you're placing the fate of the bond in someone else's hands. And if they're waiting too, the two of you will lose each other. If someone once helped you, say thank you. If someone once trusted you, check in. If someone once showed up at the right time, don't let your gratitude stay only in your heart. Jim Rohn once said, life becomes rich when we appreciate the people who have crossed our path. No one walks with us forever. But when someone walks with us for a stretch, whether long or short, that's a part of life worth keeping, some say I'm not good at communication. But nurturing relationships isn't about speaking cleverly. It's about sincerity. Just be your real self. Just be kindness without calculation. Just be presence without demanding anything in return. Remember, people don't remember what you say. They remember how they feel when they're around you. If you make them feel respected, they'll never forget you. If you make them feel heard, they'll want to be near you. If you make them feel appreciated, they'll stand by you when you need it most. A good relationship doesn't require daily contact, but it does need the right touch at the right time. A call when they're struggling, a message when they have good news, a greeting on a special day. Things that seem small, but they're what keep the soul of a relationship alive. And then when you know how to build